21 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Thursday morning. We've got another great book to turn you on to. Kind of a hippie expression, isn't it? Turn you on to something, man. Katherine Prairie is on the phone. The book is called Thirst. It's a mystery novel. Let me tell you a little bit about Katherine. She worked as a specialist in geological computer modeling and on international oil and gas projects. She's a consultant to clients such as Saks Fifth Avenue, British Columbia's Parks and Protected Services, and the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology. Does that mean she's up in Canada, Robin?
I don't know.
She's a chemical and bioresource engineer, and her name is Katherine Prairie. Gosh, that's just a pretty name. I wonder if she uses. Is that a pen name? Do you think? The book is called Thirst. I think this is her first book. I'm not sure. Let's say good morning, Katherine Prairie. Good morning, Katherine. How are you?
Good morning. I'm just fine. Thanks so much for having me today.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Oh, that's a beautiful area. How's it today?
Oh, we're starting a heat wave. Although for your Florida listeners, I'm sure they wouldn't consider it such. But we're getting to be, I think they said 25 degrees Celsius. So and down in Florida, you'd be expecting well over 30. I'm sure at this time of year.
Wow, see, it's like a foreign language when people use Celsius. I'm sorry, I drew a blank. It's like
and it's funny because I'm drawing a blank the other way. Right now, I can't come up with the temperature, but let's just say that we're barely hitting 80.
Okay. We'll use that. I don't even know. So am I right? This is your first book?
It is, yes.
Well, you must have had a talent that was just being held back. I mean, obviously, a first book this good is very rare.
Well, thank you for saying it. I really appreciate that you've enjoyed it. I've always wanted to write, and it's just one of those things that kind of took a back burner while I was working in my career. And now that I have the time, there was a story that I just had to tell, and that was it. It was Thirst. The idea came to me more than 10 years ago, and it just wouldn't let me go.
Well, based on what we've read that you are involved in, aside from Saks Fifth Avenue, which seems to be the odd man out here, I'm trying to figure out the connection. But everything else you've been involved in, it almost makes me wonder if some of this story comes from experience, just things you've seen in the world.
It absolutely has, and so I worked in mining geology for just one summer. That's not where I spent my entire career, but there are some of my personal experiences they're sort of built into this story, and the people that I've met throughout my career, all these really interesting geologists, both men and women. I've sort of pulled pieces of them into this story, and of course I've also added in my handsome emergency room doctor because I have some friends who are doctors. So, I've sort of pulled in a little bit from everywhere.
Well, they have to be handsome, though. I mean, it's important to the reader. You've really done an excellent job with your descriptiveness of the scenery, because that seemed to play a character also.
Absolutely, it did. I wanted people to feel like the mountains, in particular, were sort of ominous, and they were kind of just one more character that Alex has to deal with.
Do you have a sense for the balance between a need to be harvesting the land, utilizing the land for minerals and fuel and things like that, as up against the environmental issues that we face?
Absolutely. It's always interesting to me that a lot of people assume that geologists don't have that same concern about the environment because we are, of course, trying to use those resources, but we are also environmentalists in a way. We're the stewards of the environment, and we want to do that as carefully as we possibly can.
Yeah.
At least, those of us like me. I mean, I'm always incredibly careful. There's stories of how when we're drilling wells, for example, where there's a nesting owl, and we'll let that owl nest and have its peace for 3 months and delay, just so that we don't impact them. So we're trying really carefully to to sort of balance that, to make sure that the environment is protected while still trying to heat people's homes and all that kind of stuff, right? It's a challenge. It definitely is a challenge.
Well, thank God for people like you, because, I mean, if we had to depend on politicians, they really talk without knowing. So we need to ask people who know, is it a good idea to drill? Is it a good idea to even go for minerals? I mean, the very technology we're speaking to you on requires minerals.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And absolutely, we can't just depend on politicians. I mean, we need to look to scientists and people who really understand what's going on, but we also need to hear from people. We need to hear from, the farmers and of course, in Canada, First Nations, and in the States, the tribes, they all have really important information, and we have to listen to what they say.
Is Katherine Prairie your real name?
It is.
Wow. Well, you were gifted with a really pretty name.
Well, thank you very much. It's interesting because often people will ask me that, and growing up, I never really thought about it, because here, of course, the Prairie provinces, I always thought I didn't really want to be named after something like that. But it's unique, and hopefully that will help me in my writing career.
Is Alex Graham going to be a continuing character?
She is. There's something about her that just really fuels my imagination, and I'm really thrilled to be working on the second novel with her. This one is moving down to Brazil, so it's moving outside of Canada, and hopefully that'll be out sometime in the next year. But I already have other stories percolating around. It's terrific.
Yeah. Is she an extension of you? It's kind of a dumb question to ask an author, is the protagonist you? So I'm going to try to ask it a different way. Is it an extension of you in this case?
It's maybe it's sort of what I would like to be.
Okay.
She definitely isn't me. She's sort of an amalgam of all of the interesting women that I've known, so I've sort of pulled the best and the worst of people that have fascinated me and that I've really enjoyed being around. And the things that she does, heck, I wish I had the courage to do some of those things, but I don't. So she's sort of, she goes well beyond what I would ever be doing, and she definitely wouldn't be working for Saks Fifth Avenue, which, by the way, the reason that the connection there is that, they, among with other companies, were early adapters of some of the really interesting modeling techniques to sort of better understand their customers. And they sought out people in the scientific community to sort of help them with that. And so that's how I managed to do that. So they weren't planning to drill any wells or anything.
Can you, with a minute left, can you give us a movie trailer version of the story of Thirst?
Ooh, let's see. All right. Mining geologist Alex Graham joins a doctor's urgent search for a suspected toxic spill, but her chilling discovery puts her in the crosshairs of a killer. What do you think?
Drop it right there.
It's a great read. It really is a great read. Very enjoyable.
You're in good company, too. Every time I see that we're speaking to a guest who we have on the show because of publicist PJ Nunn, I know it's going to be a good interview, and I know it's going to be a good book. I have a copy of the book called Thirst right here. If you are listening and you'd like the copy that was sent to us, it's yours, but I can only give away one, so give me a call, 622-9622. The rest of us have to buy it. Katherine, do you have a website?
I do, KatherinePrairie.com, and also I'm on Facebook, of course, and Twitter, so people I always love to hear from readers, so I'd encourage people to come connect with me there.
Well, I'm going to connect with you on Facebook and all those other things, and became a fan right away. We both did. Katherine Prairie, thank you for being on the air with us today.
And thank you.
All right, we will be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Anna Wells. FEMA is looking for rental properties for thousands left homeless by flooding in Louisiana. This man in Sorrento was flooded out.
The water was coming in faster than the pumps could keep them out.
Some 40,000 homes have been damaged. People living in Gay-Daw, Louisiana are now being urged to evacuate as water rises there. In San Bernardino, California, it's not clear how many homes have burned, but one fire official warns
there'll be a lot of families that come home to nothing.
A wildfire has consumed more than 25,000 acres. McDonald's pulls its activity trackers for kids from Happy Meals.
They attach to the wrist like watches and count the number and pace of the wearer's steps. But instead of getting kids moving, the bans gave some of them rashes, according to complaints by parents. The company is investigating the skin irritations.
Fox's Kathleen Maloney. Fox News, we report, you decide.
For me, it was the big S-Class from the 90s. Beautiful. My friend's dad had one.
The SL. All of the SLs. I've been watching those since I was a kid.
I think the 1971 SE was the first Mercedes that just blew me away.
Everyone remembers the first time they saw one, and the day they began to long for a Mercedes-Benz of their own. Well, that day may be a lot closer than you think. With a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you can experience the luxury and safety Mercedes-Benz is famous for at a price you can afford. Beautiful SUVs, sedans, coupes, and convertibles that are factory certified and covered by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 3 years, so you can drive without a worry for as far as you like. And during the certified pre-owned sales event, now through August 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and 0.99% APR financing on select models, available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties. APR offer available only to qualified customers. Call 1-800-FOR-MERCEDES for details about costs and terms.
Hospice of Marion County has an urgent need for volunteers to share a conversation with someone, run errands, hold someone's hand. All you need is a willingness to help others. Our volunteers believe the blessings they receive far exceed the services they offer. Will you consider serving, caring, and making a difference? Call today, 873-7441. Hospice of Marion County, making more moments of life possible.
Hi, this is Vanessa Lane Jennings with the Jennings Law Firm, located here in beautiful Ocala. Join me every single Friday at 10:30 for Legal Lane. We'll be discussing various legal topics such as family law, criminal law, contracts, and much more. So this is your chance to call in with your legal questions and have them answered. That's every Friday, 10:30, right here, WOCA The Source.
Some would say that this country is in the toilet. Some would even go so far as to say